Hello again, everyone. This is Cashfall here today, and we are here to pretty much. I'm gonna be giving on this live my um, kind of like doing a little discussion of like my thoughts, opinions, and my compare and contrast notice of both the two Disney films of the Haunted Mansion. The one back from 2003 with Eddie Murphy, compared to this new one that just came out and is in theaters now in 2023. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go into my notes and see what I have here on the agenda for the discussion. So, it looks like I saved it on a Google Drive, so I have to open it. The Haunted Mansion notes. Okay, well, first of all, um, sorry again for the little confusion that I had on my other link um, before, because apparently when I had set up this live to go live scheduled for about this time, apparently something either happened to the link or it's because I set it up on my iPad instead of my computer, which is probably why I couldn't. Because I mean, a computer's webcam is a little bit different than a pad's, especially if you're doing a visual broadcast and not just over radio. But anyways, I think now that I'm live, it should say on my channel or not. If people are heading into that link, they should still be notified if I went online or not. Um, so eventually, I think you guys will eventually come in here. So I will leave the chat open. So, first of all, on the discussion agenda is pretty much what are we discussing today? The movie, the both movie versions of The Haunted Mansion by Disney. So, me and YouTuber Scott a Player Popcorn fan, you all probably those of you who follow me, you guys probably know him. He does a lot of reviews and discussions and trailer reactions on his channel, mostly to video games, TV shows, and movies. Um, and well, more on the music side, that's kind of me too. But anyways, um, so now that we know what we're going to discuss, Um, it looks like nobody's here right now, but eventually I hope they will come on here. So, anyways, wait, is this open? Yes, it is. Okay, we might as well just widescreen that. So, first of all, uh, my overall rates for both of these films. So, I also recently just watched again the Eddie Murphy version of The Haunted Mansion from 2003. Um, and my overall rate, I give that by stars wise, 4 being the best, of course. I would possibly have to give that a 2.5 stars out of 4. I mean, almost half a grade because I didn't think it was like that. I didn't think it was that great. But I do have to admit, they had some points in the story that I thought the story was pretty okay. I mean, the thought of Gracie hanging himself because his loved one died and he's trying to get reconnected with her. I mean, many topics like that in relationships are kind of really spoken of up to this day. And so it talks about a guy being in pain and he wanted to kind of like throw himself out. Um, so yeah, pretty relatable. But other than that, my overall rate on that is 2.5 out of 4 stars, which I'd probably have to give it 59 to 64% Rotten Tomatoes. So may have to give this one, if at best, maybe rate it a D or D plus. Um, Now, as compared to this 2023 Haunted Mansion version that's in theaters still today, um, it's like Disney has made a great huge comeback, and it must have been very successful as far as I'm concerned. Because when I watched this new one, it's as like they wanted to redo the entire Haunted Mansion story. I mean, a whole different plot, different cast, even a different look of the mansion outside itself. So I give this overall rate a definite like 3.75 out of 4 stars. So it's like three and a half, like 3 and 3/4 of 4 stars. So that's almost like a a B plus, A minus. Mhm. So when it comes to the overall rates between the two, I'd have to say this new 2023 version is definitely much better. It's like Disney must have realized that their first Haunted Mansion version in 2003 was probably a flop, and so they probably looked at it over years from that point and had decided, okay, it's probably time for us to reboot the idea of a Haunted Mansion movie. So then they probably decided, hey, why not do this instead? Why not have it with this kind of a plot, this kind of cast, and make the genre a little less comedy? It's like have it be actually thrilling, a little bit spooky ooky, and a little bit of paranormal stuff in it. I mean, like how a haunted mansion should be. So Disney decided to kind of do that, and then, well, I guess their decision has led down the right path because I think their patience and their hard work has paid off. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, when I watched this compared to the old one, I prefer this new one much better. Um, According to my overall rates on the two. So, next on the agenda is okay, my overall rate of the two of them. We've already discussed that. Um, by the way, guys, I'm not going to be here too long on this live because I want to get to rest pretty soon. So, it's kind of like a movie review comparing the two in a way. So, that's kind of like why I'm here. So, I gave my overall rate of the two. Now it's time for my overall thoughts of the films. So, like I said before, both films, great title, of course, The Haunted Mansion. A great idea of the concept of a haunted mansion. Excellent job, Disney. Um, Now, as for castings, um, back in 2003, when the very first Haunted Mansion film, um, starring Eddie Murphy in that cast, we can kind of see. I I totally get it. A random cast from possibly back east in America that decided to want to go on a family vacation, and then all of a sudden, husband's work life kind of gets drawn right back to him, and decide to make a stopping detour, and then they got trapped, and you can guess where that was, the mansion itself. Um, so then, of course, all else falls into place in time throughout the story. It's like, they're all just trying to find ways out of there. And then it just leads to more rooms, more traps, more spooky ooks. Um, and I just have to say, Jennifer Tilly for Madame Leota, the ball lady. It's like, oh man, who would have ever thought that someone like her can pass for Madame Leota? Um, though I have to say, she was pretty funny and did a good job at Leota. I mean, she was only, kind of like sticking to the rules, just like saying, "Look, I don't make the rules, all right? I just work here." Spoken like a true employee. I mean, more like a ghost or paranormal employee. While as like the medium lady in the new Haunted Mansion movie, she was more like serious and precise and kind of while at the same time pretty quirky. Some kind of like comedy jabs here and there, but I have to say she was kind of more on the kind of on the maybe not too serious side, but more on the like, oh, okay, let's get to work kind of a feeling side, if you know what I mean. She was there for a purpose and reason. She got paid, so she knows she has to do a good job. Um, so you guys all know possibly what I'm talking about. And according to my notes, it says on here, um, well, Madame Leota, the ball lady in this new film, was played by Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, who knew? Jamie Lee Curtis playing a spiritual medium in a ball. Well, after all, it is a haunted film, so I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's been kind of like all over, the movies and the horror genre, the suspense and the thrillers, and some like films about murder mysteries. That's kind of like her side of the film industry. So it was kind of great to see her playing just her face in a ball most of the time. But also the concept that I like in this new film, they gave her an entire full physical body appearance. Like they made up, like of course they gave her the costume when she was able to come out of the ball by spiritual magic or something like that. And then I can't. Yeah, now I know I just saw this new film, but I can't really remember if she was able to get back into the ball or if she stayed out as her whole physical self. I'll have to look into that again, or according to what the story says. But anyways, um, so other thoughts of the Eddie Murphy version. Um, so I have to say the Eddie Murphy version of the Haunted Mansion, even though it had some moments of spooks and some like things to look at, like whoa, that's a little creepy. Um, I have to say it was kind of like less on the haunty side and less on the scary side. It was kind of more like it was kind of more like silly dark comedy, if you will. I mean, yeah, sure. Down in the tomb, there was like those walking skeleton zombie things coming out from the ground in the tombs and in the walls. But then it's like they were almost kind of like on the funny side, even though they were coming like right at you. But it's like they didn't seem too serious enough to want to like kill you in a way, just to kind of like spook you out. Um, while as in this new film, they had something kind of like that, except it didn't come out of the walls. It was summoned spirits themselves by the name of that ghost that's also in the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney Park. See, that's what this new film is kind of about. They wanted to make this new Haunted Mansion 2023 film more stick more to the roots of the park's Haunted Mansion ride attraction itself. I mean, they got the mansion on the outside to look just like how it is on the exterior in the park. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Victorian era, I think, is the name of the design. But anyways, and in the inside, when you're in the line queue, um, excluding the doom buggies that you go into, everything else in there kind of looks just like you would when you're standing in the ride. You got your hallway, those pictures that play tricks on you, the illusions, even the stretching room that goes down the elevator to take you down the hallway from the park's l- floor level. Um, and so, if I'm not mistaken, according to my notes, the and also, I mean, playing the professor. I mean, why? It's like, do you guys really think that Danny DeVito actually could have passed to look like a professor in this film? I mean, I get it; he kind of has the age for it, but not to actually like poke size things here, but it's like he was a bit on the short side. But sometimes anyways, sometimes people in that with that height sometimes can make a movie or their character in the film a little bit funnier, and it's just sometimes by the way you look at it, like it can give you a little chuckle under your breath when you're watching in the theater for the first time, but then afterwards you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. But anyways, so any other thoughts from the 2003 Haunted Mansion movie? Um, the only other thoughts I had were, um, well, I do feel pretty bad for Mr. Gracie's character. Just how he had that tragic event in his life when his loved one was poisoned by his master butler ghost. Because he kind of had an idea that them two being together would destroy the mansion and everyone in it because um, he had a premonition that Gracie wanted to run away from the place with that girl. And without a master around, nobody could have stepped in and take care of the mansion. They all would have been trapped because they couldn't really be freed. Because it all started with this actions of taking that goblet or however she was poisoned by um, the ghost Ramsey in that film, who was the head butler. Um, it's like in every murder mystery, Eddie Murphy had to say that spoof line in there. The butler did it? You gotta be kidding me. As soon as he found out the whole entire truth. So, yeah, it all just came down to place. He had his children to save, and then he had to grab his wife and get out of there. And even Madame Leota was quite a help, even though she couldn't move or do anything because she was in a ball. She could only talk. Uh, but in the end, it was a great happy ending. They got the house. They either sold it or they kept it, however. But they did go on that road trip in the end, so it's possible they could have either kept it because maybe they were going away on another vacation and then probably returned home to their mansion, or if they sold it all and they went off to back to their old home, I suppose. And the ending is just a little mysterious when they're driving off on that highway to the sunset and there's nothing in front of them. It's almost as like, where are they escaping or running to? It just keeps you thinking. Those are my concluding thoughts of the 2003 film, and would I recommend it? Of course I will. I mean, I have to say, if you really want to see kind of like both versions of like Disney's views of the Haunted Mansion, I would definitely say it's not a waste of time to watch the Eddie Murphy version, but I would say I don't think it was better than this new one. I think this new one's obviously much better one. Um, and of course, maybe the Eddie Murphy one is kind of like more on the juvenile side too. Like if you have like a lot of little kids in your family and they wanted to see the Haunted Mansion, maybe this would be the one for them. Because it's not as kind of like dark or suspenseful or intense. While as this new one, it kind of can make you for the first time watching it. It could make you shake in your chair if you're a little jumpy or very sensitive to like films in these genres, like haunts, paranormal, suspense, and thriller. If you're a little bit jumpy with films like that, then maybe this one you want to see with a good friend or maybe your family. This is probably not a one for the very first time to see by yourself, unless you really want to. um, so I gave my overall rating of this new Haunted Mansion 2023 film. I definitely give it a 3.75 out of 4 stars, about a B plus to A minus, close to a solid A grade. Not A plus though. I mean, if I didn't think it was a good A plus kind of a movie. Um, but I have to say, I thought what was A plus was the plot, the story itself. It had a great story. Um, Much better story than the Eddie Murphy version, in my opinion. That's why this is a discussion, and I'm just giving my thoughts and all that. I'm not saying I'm of course not judging it, of course, only except from my point of view. But whatever version you guys like out there, you guys take your pick. Uh, so the next here on the agenda, we have my overall rating of this new one. Yep, we already did that. Um, so my overall like some thoughts in this new film. So it looks like I'm planning to spend on here. So first, before I talk about that, we're at 19 minutes and 30 seconds into this live. So I'm thinking of going for aiming toward no more than 30. So about 11-ish, 10-ish more minutes max. But of course, it could end earlier than that, or who knows. So, my overall thoughts of the new film. Now, this was definitely not a waste of time seeing. I mean, if I had a choice, or if I had the time, or um, you know, the people available to see it with, I would definitely go and see this Haunted Mansion film at least 1 or 2 more times if I can. That's right, that would make a total of 2 or 3 times seeing it in the theater. I thought it was that great of a film. I mean, because there are just those films where you think they were so great and excellent, and you really loved them that you just want to keep going back and seeing it again and pay for an extra ticket for it again. Ugh. Just like in the days when the Harry Potter films were coming out, me and my family all went to go see the Harry Potter films every time a new one was released, at least 2 or 3 times in the theater. It's like one of those exciting, great big films you're waiting for. Um, I think this new one was definitely one of those because I guess maybe there were some scenes in the film where it kind of reminded me of being like inside the actual Haunted Mansion attraction at the Disneyland park again. And Disney holds a very special place in my heart, especially its parks. Me and my family go to Disneyland almost every year around the end during the holidays for at least a week trip if we can every year. And Haunted Mansion is always one of our favorites. Um, so, um, thoughts of this new film? It was a very great cast. A couple people I was like, "Whoa, is that really that person? I didn't know they were in this film," and such like that. Um, just like um, the actress who played the wife in this film, or at least the mother of the kid, Rose, um, Rosario Dawson, who played her name's Gabby. Uh, she played the mother of her son in this movie, and she was also in the on Disney Plus. They have those like some of those mini Star Wars series, like Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian, um, where you saw some guest actors appearances come back, like from the original movies, like Mark Hamill, who came back as Luke Skywalker, CGI'd like CGI de-aged. Um, it's like, wow, he's still able to do all of that stuff. I mean, the physical stuff that is. It's not really hard to put on dots of makeup and all of that in a wig or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, Rosario Dawson, she played in the Disney Plus new series of Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. She had some appearances as Ahsoka Tano, the character of the young Jedi from back in the Clone Wars series that was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. And of course, in those series when she was playing Ahsoka, obviously she was an older, age of herself, years and years. I mean, way past after the Clone Wars time and Revenge of the Sith. It was around the time where I believe it was supposed to be the where the Empire was no more. But anyway, Rosario Dawson, she plays Gabby in this film, and I actually cannot wait to see her come back for a Disney Plus series. Ahsoka Tano is going to have her own Star Wars series on Disney Plus coming around pretty sooner or later, either maybe end of this year or next year. Scott Applyer's going to have to tell me that. Maybe he may know more about it. But anyways, she's gonna come back and do Ahsoka in that series, and sure can't wait to see how she performs it. So, anyways, other thoughts of this film? I mean, you have the main villain being the uh, what do they call it? The head box ghost that can put his head from his head of the body into the box that he's carrying or the lantern that he's carrying, and you can see his face in there still talking to you. It's just like the hat box ghost. Excuse me. That was a sneeze. It's just like that ghost you see in the Haunted Mansion attraction too, where you see his face fade away from his body and go into the lantern of the box. Um, and I believe that was the not the headless horseman. Um, let's get Jarvis. Well, I guess they kind of kept his character a little bit of a mystery, even IMDb in my notes doesn't say what actor played that. Maybe Scott Plyer as well may know about it, which is why I wish he was here. I'm getting no views right now. Hmm. Probably it's the confusion. Everybody's still on that link and waiting, and they probably haven't found out that I'm live here instead. But when I'm done with the live, of course, they'll see it on my channel once it's put in there. Uh, Again, guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get more organized in how I set up these live streams. Like if I'm gonna stream, if I know I'm gonna stream live off of my selfie cam on my iPad, I would set it up on there as a mobile stream. While as on a computer or laptop, it's not mobile, and I guess the source was already selected for mobile before, and I couldn't change that for the same link. I guess I'd have to delete that link and create a new one. But anyways, next time I'll be more organized about that, I promise. So, any other thoughts of this film? Well, yeah, the villain was great. He definitely had some like darker themes, and trying to get the characters to really have uh, their grievings, because that's what he fed on. He fed on people's like fears of losing loved ones and all of that, because that's kind of what gave him power. And then with the full moon, that's when he is that's when he's most powerful, and it's like nearly unstoppable. So it's like, wow, a little mix of some haunted mansion themes in there and full moons. It's like the whole full moon and werewolf kind of stuff, or for like witchcraft, and then full moon kind of is like their power. It's like this is very perfect stuff for thematic elements like that. So, great film, by the way. That's probably my last thought on it. So, my recommendation of this new one, absolutely. A Disney fan, if you love the Haunted Mansion attraction at the theme parks, you definitely have to see this. If you didn't like the Haunted Mansion version of 2003, then don't worry about this new one. This is worth seeing. It's not a disappointment like the first one. This one is like a whole reboot, different story, different kind of theme to the story, everything. So, this new one, definitely not a disappointment and not a waste of time. You should all definitely see this whenever you can, or wait for it to come on Disney Plus. I think you would be surprised after you first see it. So, it looks like we have covered everything. So, again, I think that is going to do it for this live stream. And wow, just 2 minutes before our 30-minute max. Of course, I could go longer if I wanted to, but I'm just choosing not to. So, thank you guys again for eventually clicking and watching this discussion, my compare and contrast and thoughts kind of discussion review of both Disney Haunted Mansion movies. So don't you all forget to watch this as soon as I end the live stream. It'll be in my lives section of my channel. And I will see you guys all next time on my next video. I will put a post on my channel. I think in the community tab is where they usually are. But anyways, my channel will have a next post of coming what's next on my channel. So stick around for the next video. I will see you guys next time. And Scott Plier, I sure missed you on this round, but maybe with the better organization of setting up the link in the stream next time, maybe you'll be able to find me. So again, not your fault. It was probably kind of mine. So anyway, Cash Vault out. Good night, everyone.